Hi, everybody. This is James Van Praagh, and you recognize me, I hope. I think now you probably should. I've been a best-selling author in spiritual books, been a spiritual medium for close to 40 years now, and produced the show Ghost Whisperer and other things. And I just want to share this because 10 years ago, I had a vision, and I think the vision came from the spirit world. I really do. I think many things come from them, and they inspire us. That I was given this ability of mediumship, not only to help people with grief and to help to realize that there is no death, that life continues on, but also once I had that and brought that out to the public, there had to be more. And I thought, you know what? I need to spread the word. I need to teach. And teaching is a passion I have. I have found that one of the hardest parts of my work that I do is I can talk to dead people. I can talk to spirit. That's easy. The hard part is when I meet somebody and I see their potential and they don't see it for themselves. So I started teaching a long time ago, helping people to recognize their truth, who they are, what the potentials they have, the gifts they have, the abilities. I was told about my abilities many, many, many years ago, and that's why I'm doing mediumship, right? And of course, it's probably my destiny. But I wanted to start a space, a place, a community where people could come together and to learn with like-minded people about subjects they wouldn't necessarily find out there. So 10 years ago, I started my school online. It was one of the very first online spiritual schools, I guess you would call it, online school, online teaching. And it really was the vision I had and Spirit gave me. It's called the JVP School of Mystical Arts. Many of you know it. And from 10 years ago, it's created a community, which I never expected. I never expected that this school would create such a community of like-minded people from all over the world. People become lifetime friends in all different corners of the globe. And it makes me so thrilled and so happy that was able to happen. You know, when you do things like that, when you create something, you put that out to the public, you put a show out, you put a school out, you put a course out, you do mediumship around the world, and sometimes you just never hear back. You just give it out, and that's really what happens. You never expect to hear anything back. But I have to tell you, one of the wonderful things about creating this school, the JP School of Mystical Arts, the students have come back to me, a lot of students, hundreds and hundreds, and say to me, thank you for creating the school because it has changed my life. I have now found myself. I now believe in myself. I now can love myself unconditionally. And it took this school, this place, these courses that really have helped me to do that. And I want to thank you. And I can't tell you how enriching and that wonderful that makes me feel. Because I do believe in life. When we touch another human being and we're able to open them up to who they really are, that they can see their gifts and their potential, wow, that's successful. And that's really, when you change a life like that, think about it. I'm gonna cry. When you change someone's life like that, then in turn, they will use that information and that knowledge and talk to somebody else about it and somebody else about it. And there's what I call the rippling effect that goes on, waves of that. Because it's so exciting when one finds themselves, one gets to know themselves, they, wow, this is amazing. And they tell people, and the word is spread. And that's why the school has been so successful, because of word of mouth. Funny enough, my mediumship started with word of mouth. When I was working a 9-to-5 job, I was working at Paramount Studios, and I'll never forget, it was a management job for their syndication department. And I started to work with a medium who recognized my ability. And I sat with him in a development circle for 7 years, not doing one message at all, just developing that sense of who I was as a soul, using that power within, the understanding of mediumship. And after the 7 years, I did my first reading, starting to do some messages for friends or people there in our circle. I remember one of the first things that happened, I met my guides. And my guide said there were several different guides. And I remember 2 or 3 of them said at one time, they said to me, they'll mold the thought together. And they said, James, if you work with us, if you work with our spiritual work here and help to change the world and change the consciousness of this world, we will always take care of you. So you decide, that's your choice. If you'd like to work with us, we'll always take care of you. And I have decided, well, and this is interesting, it's the human part, the rational part, that, wow, I could work a 9-to-5 job at Paramount Studios, making a lot of money, having a lot of insurance and benefits and, everything that goes with a great job. Or I could do this spiritual work where you really don't know how I'd make an income, how I'd be known, and so forth. But I knew when I was sitting in that development circle for those many years, that there was something within me, that in my heart, there was a passion that was lit. And I knew that this work of spirit, doing this work and teaching, has to be the way it is. It has to work because I felt it. I wanted to change. I wanted to help people. So I quit Paramount Studios and I worked for Spirit. And how that started was just really based upon referrals, completely word of mouth. Just like my school, it's word of mouth. And I had bookings. I did 2 a day. That's all I would do. And it was just, maybe the first week I did 3 readings. And I built it up how I feel more comfortable and made sure that the person receiving this message, the work, would be respected. And it was really honored. And word of mouth had me working, it was 2 weeks ahead, then a months ahead, 6 months ahead, a year ahead for appointments and bookings. And that all started with word of mouth. And it got so incredible. But I wanted to reach more people with this type of work. So I created the school. I created the school 10 years ago. And the first course I thought I would teach and introduce was the psychic certification course. And the psychic certification course I thought was a great beginning, a groundbreaker, because every single person is psychic from one degree or another. It's nature's tuning fork. It's our soul self. It's that sense of knowingness that we all have. And you know this. When you go with your gut, you'll always be right. But when you don't listen to that gut, things will happen. It won't feel right. And you later say, I should have listened to that gut. I should have listened to that small voice within. So I wanted to create this course where people learn a skill set. Number one, learn to trust themselves. Learn to understand that little voice within. And use different daily activities that could enhance your intuition. And the course is really about working with that muscle, that psychic muscle, because it's a muscle. Just like the more you work out, the more you develop. The more you work out, the more it develops. So I created this course with various exercises that were personally I used and I was taught. I spent hours and hours, months in a wonderful New Age bookstore called the Bodhi Tree in Los Angeles. And I must have read hundreds of books. They used to let you sit there in the hallways there in their chairs, and you could read whatever you wanted to. And I read almost every psychic book, mediumship book, your Casey book, everything. And a lot of the exercises in the course are based upon many of the wonderful intuitives and mediums from years ago. I incorporated them. But the psychic certification course is a great way to, number one, it's easy in that it's not something, I got to learn this. It's something you already know. It's a reminder to who you really are. It's your psychic, that little voice within. It's honoring that little voice within. And I'll tell you, when you start there at the beginning, you start to have a relationship with your true self, with your soul self, right? Because remember, we are souls having a human experience, not the other way around. And the more we become aware of using that soul power, of using that intuitive self, our choices are easier. I often say that life is a series of choices, and all choices are based upon either love or fear. And as souls, we are naturally loving beings. We have a loving divine energy. Fear is of the human. And when you use use your intuition, and you really magnetize, I guess you would say, or advance, and getting comfortable with hearing that little voice within, this knowingness expands. It expands, and it'll help you in all areas of your life. whether it's someone you meet at a business meeting, you'll know this person is honest, I can trust them, or something's not right about this energy. Or you go into a space, like whether it's a house you're going to buy, an office you're going to rent, whatever it might be. Intuition affects us in all different areas of our life, and you will be able to use these exercises that become very natural to you and be, wow. And another thing students say to me, it feels like I've come home again. Like, I know this. So the psychic certification course is a really important beginning course, a groundbreaking course that I suggest all the time to everybody. It'll change your life. It will change your life. It'll change your sense of self. It'll enhance your life. It'll enhance the choices that you make. And I want to throw this in there too, because it's very interesting as I get older and we age, and you look back, of course, at your life in hindsight, 2020. But I'll never forget when people from the spirit world come back and they say, if only I knew then what I know now, I would have made different choices. I'd have used that inner voice within, that intuition. That also guided me to create this certification course. So I hope you'll be interested in looking at it, and if it resonates, I look forward to working with you in the course. So it's the Psychic Certification course, and that's the JP School of Mystical Arts.com. Look forward to seeing you in school. Thank you so much.